Coffee fuels mornings, powers late-night study sessions, and fills cozy cafes worldwide. Over 450 million cups of coffee are consumed daily in the United States alone. Finland leads the world, with each person drinking an average of 12 kilograms of coffee beans yearly, according to the International Coffee Organization. This dark, energizing drink ranks as the second most popular beverage globally, just behind water. Even soldiers rely on it, with coffee included in most military rations. How did this humble bean become a global phenomenon? Let's explore the journey of coffee, from ancient berries to modern espressos, and uncover why humanity can't get enough. Around 850, a goat herd named Kaldi in Ethiopia's Kaffa region noticed something strange. His goats, after nibbling red coffee berries, pranced with unusual energy. Intrigued, Kaldi tried the berries himself and felt a surge of vitality. This legend marks humanity's first encounter with coffee. People in Ethiopia began foraging wild coffee plants in forest undergrowth. They made tea from the leaves, mixed berries with butter and salt for snacks, and eventually roasted and simmered the cherries into a drink. Coffee's stimulating effects sparked curiosity, setting the stage for its spread. Across the Red Sea, another story unfolded in Yemen. Sheikh Omar, banished to a desert cave, discovered coffee's power. Starving, he ate red berries from a bush but found them bitter. Determined, he roasted and boiled them, creating an energizing liquid that sustained him for days. His community, amazed by this discovery, welcomed him back. Historical evidence points to both Ethiopia and Yemen as coffee's cradle. The plant grew natively in Ethiopia's highlands, but Yemen pioneered the roasting and brewing methods we recognize today. These early experiments laid the foundation for a global obsession. In the 1450s, a Sufi leader in Yemen transformed coffee's role. Returning from Ethiopia, he recommended coffee to worshippers for late-night rituals. The drink kept them alert during chants and dances, earning a sacred place in Muslim communities. Coffee houses, called kahve khane, emerged across the Arabian Peninsula. People gathered to sip coffee, play games, and debate politics. These spaces buzzed with energy, but not everyone approved. In 1511, a religious court in Mecca put coffee on trial. Scholars debated its effects, fearing it might intoxicate Muslims. After deliberation, they deemed it permissible, and coffee houses flourished in Damascus, Istanbul, and beyond. By the late 1500s, Yemen became a coffee hub. Farmers cultivated coffee plants, and the port of Al-Maha, later called Mocha, exported beans worldwide. Coffee's journey wasn't always peaceful. Beans were smuggled to India, taking root in Java and other regions. The Ottoman Empire, embracing coffee's allure, introduced it to Europe. This marked the beginning of coffee's global conquest, as curiosity about the drink spread far beyond its origins. In the 1650s, London's first coffee houses opened their doors. By 1663, over 80 dotted the city, becoming hubs for intellectuals and businessmen. Patrons paid a penny for a cup and lively conversation, earning these spaces the nickname penny universities. In 1679, Garraway's Coffee House hosted a spectacle. Scientist Robert Hooke, who coined the term cell, publicly dissected a porpoise, captivating coffee-sipping onlookers. Coffee houses weren't just for sipping, they were stages for ideas and debate. King Charles II, wary of their influence, tried to ban them in 1675, but the public's love for coffee prevailed. Across the Channel, France developed its own coffee culture. In the 1700s, Parisians mixed coffee with milk and sugar, creating a smoother, sweeter drink. Enlightenment thinkers like Diderot and Voltaire frequented coffee houses. Voltaire, legend says, drank 50 cups daily, though these were likely small, weaker servings. Coffee fueled intellectual revolutions, but its spread came at a cost. European empires, eager for profit, established plantations in Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean, often relying on enslaved or exploited labor. Coffee's popularity soared, but its production cast a dark shadow. In the early 1600s, the Netherlands planted the first coffee crops in Sri Lanka. By 1711, the Dutch East India Company imported beans from Java and Ceylon. France followed, introducing coffee to the Caribbean in the 1700s. Portugal brought it to Brazil, and Spain spread it across Central and South America. By the late 1800s, these regions produced some of the world's finest coffees. Brazil, in particular, became a powerhouse. In 1906, it exported over 80% of global coffee, fueled by vast plantations. But this boom relied on grim realities. Growers displaced indigenous populations and burned forests to expand fields, often using enslaved workers. Coffee's varieties added to its allure. Arabica, first cultivated in Ethiopia, made up 60% of global coffee by the 2000s. Known for its sweet, fruity, slightly acidic taste, it thrived in Latin America but took 7 years to mature, raising its price. Robusta, grown in Africa and Indonesia, offered a bitter, high-caffeine kick, perfect for espressos. Liberica and Excelsa, grown in Southeast Asia, remained rare and costly. These beans, cultivated in the equatorial bean belt, produce 20 billion pounds annually, according to the International Coffee Organization. Coffee's diversity and availability made it irresistible. In the 1500s, coffee faced suspicion in Europe. Its Islamic origins led Christians to call it the devil's drink. Some feared it could invite demonic possession. In the late 1500s, Catholic leaders urged Pope Clement VIII to ban it. Instead, the Pope took a sip. Liking what he tasted, he baptized coffee beans, declaring them Satan-free. This bold move opened the West to coffee's charms. By the 1600s, coffee houses in Europe became inclusive spaces in Germany, though Britain and France banned women, limiting access to men. In 1652, a coffee ad in Britain made bold claims. It promised to cure headaches, coughs, gout, scurvy, and even prevent miscarriages. People saw coffee as a miracle remedy, boosting its popularity. Coffee houses, unlike taverns, fostered intellectual exchange. They became places where ideas brewed alongside the drink, shaping public discourse and cementing coffee's place in daily life. In 1901, Japanese-American chemist Satoru Kato invented instant coffee. He patented it in 1903, but it didn't catch on immediately. In 1918, Belgian inventor George Washington changed that. His Red E coffee, produced in Brooklyn, became a hit with U.S. soldiers during World War I. With limited water, troops ate instant coffee powder for a quick caffeine boost, consuming 37,000 pounds daily. In 1906, the Milan World's Fair unveiled the first commercial espresso machine, revolutionizing coffee culture. By the 1950s, 60% of U.S. factories offered coffee breaks, embedding the drink in workplaces. During World War II, American soldiers in Italy craved their drip coffee. Italian espresso and cappuccino were too strong, so baristas diluted espresso with hot water, creating the Americano. This innovation spread globally, showing coffee's adaptability. By the 2000s, the global coffee industry earned $60 billion annually, with Starbucks operating 29,865 shops across 78 markets. Coffee's convenience and variety kept humanity hooked. In the mid-1900s, African countries gaining independence ramped up coffee production. East Asia embraced coffee, especially canned beverages. Specialty coffee emerged, focusing on quality beans and brewing methods. Farms in Central America and East Africa thrived, but workers faced harsh conditions and low wages. Certification efforts pushed for fair wages and sustainable farming. Yet challenges persisted. Climate change now threatens the bean belt, where coffee thrives between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. Scientists warn that warming climates could shrink viable growing areas, prompting research into resilient coffee hybrids. Coffee's journey reflects humanity's ingenuity and flaws. From Caldi's goats to modern cafes, it has shaped cultures, sparked debates, and driven economies. Despite ethical and environmental hurdles, coffee remains a daily ritual for billions. Its story, like its taste, is rich, complex, and ever-evolving. How do you take your coffee?